We all know that Bitcoin is based on blockchain. But what this blockchain is all about? More precisely, how can one imagine the individual components of a blockchain, the blocks? The blockchain is a chain of data blocks. Each block can be thought of as a page in a ledger. The individual blocks are composed of several components. Roughly, this can be differentiated into the head of the blocks, that is the block header, and its body, the block body. We'll now look into the components that are present in block header. The head of block is divided into 6 components, which is known as the block header. It contains the version number of the software, the hash of the previous block, the root hash or the Merkle tree, the time in seconds since 1st January 1970, the goal of the current difficulty, and the nonce. So these are different things that the block header will contain. Now we will discuss about the 6 components of the block header. The version number of the software is as usual. Next one is the hash of the previous block. The hash of the previous block is a reference, the chain of the blockchain, because the hash of the previous block is contained in the hash of the new blocks. The blocks of the blockchain all build on each other. Without this component, there would be no connection and chronology between each block. So it is basically required for referencing. The next one is the root hash of the Merkle tree. This is very important. All transactions contained in a block can be aggregated in a hash. This is the root hash of the Merkle tree. The time in seconds since 1st January 1970 is as usual. There is not much importance on this. The goal of current difficulty. The goal indicates how small the new hash must be to claim validity. In other words, every hash has a size in bits. The lower the goal in bits, the harder it is to find a matching hash. Note, this is very important. A hash with many zeros at the beginning is smaller than a hash without zeros. Next one is nonce. The nonce is the variable incremented by the proof of work. In this way, the miner guesses a valid hash, a hash that is smaller than the target. A blockchain is a distributed ledger similar to a database, but rather than being controlled by a central authority, that is a firm like Google, small company, or an individual, the ledger is dispersed across multiple computers, which can be located all over the world and run by anyone with an internet connection. At its core, a blockchain is a ledger through which data is added and updated in real time by a consensus of the different nodes running the software in the network. However, once the data is added to the ledger, it cannot be removed or edited like a database. This is a product of the overall design of blockchain. A hash is a function that converts one value to another. Hashing data is a common practice in computer science and is used for several different purposes. Examples include cryptography, compression, checksum generation, and data indexing. Hashing is a natural fit for cryptography because it masks the original data with another value. A hash function can be used to generate a value that can only be decoded by looking up the value from a hash table. The table may be an array, database, or other data structure. A good cryptography hash function is not invertible, meaning it cannot be reverse engineered. You will find that this we have discussed earlier. You will find here that something has happened to the block number 2. That's why its color has changed. You will find that the hash of one value is referred to the other. That is, the hash value of the first block has been deferred in the second block. The hash value in the second block has been deferred in the third block, and so on. That means each are carrying the previous reference to maintain the block, to maintain the chain rather. And in the first one, you will find that the previous hashes are all zeros, which means there is no previous reference, and this block is called the genesis block. Once the color has changed, it means that something has happened in the chain, and this sudden change in color, this happening in one block, will definitely affect the consecutive blocks. That's why you will find that the third block has become red. Now next we'll see that whether we cannot make any changes, or rather we can make changes, but that has to be accepted and that has to be signed, so that each changes can be notified and can be recorded. Proof of work is the original consensus algorithm in a blockchain network. In blockchain, this algorithm is used to confirm transactions and to produce new blocks to the chain. With proof of work, miners compete against each other to complete the transactions on the network and get reward. The term peer-to-peer, that is P2P, has different meaning and a different perspective. Now, computer science point of view, a peer-to-peer network consists of a group of devices that collectively store and share files. Each participant, which is called node, act as an individual peer. Typically, all nodes have equal power and perform the same task. In financial technology, the term peer-to-peer usually refers to the exchange of cryptocurrencies or digital assets via a distributed network. A P2P platform allows buyers and sellers to execute trades without the need of intermediaries or the third person. In some cases, websites may also provide a P2P environment that connects lenders and borrowers.